major problem that a lot of entrepreneurs face in today's world is finding that access to efficient funding, right? A lot of people talk about you don't want banks to lend you money because there's a big risk behind that. But what is your best advice to entrepreneurs who are trying to get access to the capital that can really fund their ideas and to create really big companies?
Yeah, I mean, I think that historically people would kind of just sort of point entrepreneurs towards venture capitalists or angel investors. The downside to that is a lot of angels and VCs, all of them are financially incentivized to take as big of a piece of the pie as possible. And the downside to that is like you as an entrepreneur have little to no leverage. You have no way to say, oh, well, no, I want you to have less of the company and me to have a little bit more. Like, okay, well, then I'm not investing. Peace, I'm out. And it's like, then you're screwed, right? So like one thing that has been invented that has really unlocked a way to level the playing field for entrepreneurs is crowdfunding. You probably heard that before, right? Not like Kickstarter. That's more of like paying for the like pre-orders for the product. I'm talking about like an equity crowdfunding raise or like a community round is what they call it. So you can kind of get like not only your friends and family, but their friends and family and their friends and family and their friends and family in a scalable way where you're not having to like talk to each individual to pitch them and then hopefully they give you a check, right? So a lot of entrepreneurs historically used to do kind of just like a close friends and family round because if their family even had the money, which most families don't. But with crowdfunding, if you had 1,000 people put in only $1,000, it's $1 million, right? Whereas historically people would have their friends and family put in like 50 or 100K each. And like, dude, that's a lot of risk for them. If you lose it, I mean, your family's gonna be super upset. But if you go the crowdfunding route, okay, maybe they lost $1,000, but you know, they'll live. But you do that with 1,000 people and now you have access to $1 million. And then you also call these VCs and angels, say, hey, look, I just raised $1 million in a day. I just posted on social media, a ton of people joined it. And do you want to be part of this thing? And they have a ton of FOMO too, because they might think, oh crap, this person growth hacked the heck out of their round. They're going to be successful someday. I want to be part of this vision. So I would say like, especially in the pre-seed and seed stages, definitely look into crowdfunding. We went through WeFunder and it was extremely helpful because like for us, so at the time, you know, by God's grace, we actually set the crowdfunding records back then. So in summer 2020, we raised $2 million in 2 days. And then 4 months after that, I was part of Forbes 30 Under 30. And that brought more angel investor eyeballs onto our stuff. People would look us up online and say, oh, you did a crowdfunding campaign. Are you going to do another one? And I said at the time, like, I don't really know, but maybe I'll take your email and put you on a list just in case we do. And then that list hit like 300 people within like 2 or 3 days. And so a couple of months later, it was like March 2021, I decided to open up a second crowdfunding campaign. And that raised $8 million in 2 weeks. And so, I mean, if you've ever done any VC or angel normal fundraising, that usually takes 3 to 6 months, and you maybe get $1 million out of it. But if you're able to almost like learn how to growth hack your crowdfunding campaigns, you could raise millions of dollars very, very quickly. It's not easy. It's not like a silver bullet. But if you have an eye for growth hacking, which people like you guys do, that's something that you can actually pull off fairly easily because it's your gifting or your talent. So all that to say, a lot of accelerator programs will kind of push you towards, going the typical VC angel route. But again, the downside is you have no leverage.
So when you were raising, right, you said $8 million, you raised $8 million in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did that change the framework for Immerse VR? Like when you were seeing that money come in, what was the process like and how did that ultimately change your vision for the company?
It was funny because on day one, we were trying to like close like $7.5 million in the first day. And like we only hit like 2.9 million on the first day. And like there are people on our team who were like panicking, like, oh crap, what are we gonna do? And I was like, all right, well, chill out. Like we have other things. I've already scenario planned. Like, for me, I kind of operate like Doctor Strange, where you kind of like do like a million different sort of scenarios and like, or I guess him is parallel universes. For me, like I think about different sort of scenarios we might be in. And I already thought about the case where, hey, we only raised 500K in a day. And it's like, we got to try to hit 7.5 million. And so what we ended up doing was in day one, so we just kind of took the same approach as before, which was for me to get sort of this group of people that I used to call the growth squad. Back, in the $2 million round, it was like 40 people. And these 40 people, they made up of about maybe like 200K. So like 5K on average each. And the next morning when I'd post the crowdfunding campaign on social media, I'd have a video that would say things like, hopefully by the time you watch this video, it's not too late for you to join. And you had 40 people comment saying, thanks so much, I'm in. And you see all these people who are part of their own echo chambers of their friends. And then their friends are like, what the crap is that? What? All of our friends that we know are like invested in this thing. What the heck is this? They look at it and they tell people about it and they invest. And then they tell people they invest. And it just has this like chain reaction. And so we did that not only the first time we did, the second time, but the second time, the reach was only like 2x as effective because we didn't have just 40 people in our growth squad. We now had like 700 people in our growth squad from the first campaign. Anyways, after that first day, we're like, okay, well, it's going to slow down the next day. We might only hit like 4 million the next day. We had to then the follow, like kind of throughout the week, do things like giveaways, just create a lot of hype on social media, allow people, like, we're on the phones constantly, just like helping people figure out how to get their money in, because people had like issues with their banks and crypto and they needed to sell and they didn't know how to use their wallet and random crap like that. We ultimately had to figure out ways to, honestly, we had to be creative on the spot. That was honestly a very difficult season, or just a difficult 2 weeks. Like I knew that it would be transformative for our company, which is why we put so much time and effort towards it. And if we didn't do it, then I mean, we have to go back to the traditional VC fundraising thing, which historically was just not effective for us because we weren't like some sort of like web or mobile app that you could like spin up very, very quickly within the week with like a day or two, and then you have like 1 million users because you created a good version of that. Which now we're 20 years into the web world or 30 years into that, and the fact that the chances that you're going to create the next Facebook web app, it's probably not as high as you think it would be in today's world. So for us, we knew we need to be innovative. The downside to that is it doesn't have nearly as many users as people on web and mobile. And so, I don't know if you remember like 3 or 4 or 5 years, people would say, oh, I have a cool app idea. Maybe people still say it today, but the phone is sort of just the last generation of technology. And as we move forward, people have to get creative of, okay, what should I build for the future and who the crap is going to believe in that? Because by virtue of this being something that's going to be effective in the future, it's not effective today. And so like, it's just hard to find people who, especially VCs and angels, who will place their bets on you. But I will say that plenty of random people on the internet will place a $100 bet or a $500 bet because it doesn't hurt them that much. But then you do that at scale, and then eventually that gets you the funding you need to transform your company.